Morning Zen. It's been a bit for one of these. I think last Monday, and it's the following Monday on, oh God, I never know the dates. November 25th. Let's go. November 25th. Got some Herbal Helpers immunity system tea. And then I'm going to have, for now, it's not the only breakfast, but Calorie Mate block from Japan. Now, I bought this Japanese food replacement thing, but this was made famous in the video game Metal Gear Solid in the 80s. The main character, Snake, in a cutscene was talking about having these. So I figured, let me try this stuff out and talk about something that kind of fits, which is wisdom in video games. There's wisdom everywhere, you know? Why not in video games? I mean, there's scripts in it, there's writing, characters are doing a myriad of things, and eventually there's going to be some philosophical stuff. So you get two of these in here, and they're pretty high calories, man. I mean, I can't, it's Japanese writing, I think I looked up, it's pretty high calories. I heard they were very dense, and so I got some tea here with it, because they say you're not going to be able to eat these without getting it all caught up in you. They look like little shortbreads. Yeah, see, they look like little guys. Video game wisdom. I would play video games and I'd come across a line and I'd have to go write it down. I'd be like, oh man, that was cool. Now, a lot of it isn't like traditional, like wisdom, like the stuff you see on like social media, people putting those overused quotes, just like disembodied, just alone. Right there is a quote which is impactful, like a fortune cookie, but loses context and it's also overplayed. In the video game world, they're thrown in there and they're not, oh man, these skies out there. It's like pink and white. Yeah, it's about 6:30 a.m. Anyway, in the video games, they're written in the context of these, stories where there's not traditional wisdom in there, and they're more impactful, even if they're simple and not really looked at as kind of like wisdom. I was thinking of, I would always like play them, and at any time one of those came up on the screen, I would screen capture it. Fortunately, I don't have a video game system anymore, and I didn't write them all down in my trusty little Green Lights Journal quote book. Kind of disappointing that I didn't, but I do remember a few that I want to talk about from the game Mafia 3, just like it sounds like the third game in the Mafia series. And in this one, it was set in the 60s, and the main character comes home from the Vietnam War, gets involved with the Italian Mafia. They kill members of his family close to him, and he goes on a revenge spree. He starts off killing a few, and the priest, he's getting into it with the main character's getting into it with him, and he's saying, isn't, all right, this is it, with the killing. And the main character says something along the lines of, it's not enough. And the priest fires back, it's enough if you say it's enough. Now right there, that line hit me hard, wrote it down. Now, just disembodied, it's enough if you say it's enough is kind of okay. It's not something you'd see on Instagram and people putting up those same 30 quotes that it feels like you're here, but it's impactful nonetheless in the context of that. And then when you pull it from the context, you feel the power of it even more because you know where it came from, but also still stands on its own. But what a great line. It's enough if you say it's enough. So this guy wants to just keep killing and killing. And he said it's not enough, but he says it's enough if you say it's enough, meaning at any point you could just say no. Even in a rage, a revenge, or passion, or whatever it is. Let's try this. Crumbly and not as dense as I expected. What's the flavor I got too? I forgot. There's different flavors. It's actually good. It's actually very good here. Let me go look. I can't see. I don't know, man. Some kind of citrus one. It's some kind of citrus. Very good though. If these things weren't so expensive because they're like imports, I would get these. They're common in Japan. You see them in every store. So, yeah, this is really good though. These are for the salary men in Japan. On the go, they grab them, they eat them, you get a bunch of calorie. Kind of like the drinks we have here, like Boost, meal replacement drinks, meal replacement bars. That's like shortbreads. They are dense, not as dense as I was expecting. People were saying they could hardly, like, you know, get them down. I don't know about that. It's enough if you say it's enough. Now, there's many other cool lines from that. That's not really traditional wisdom, but were great. And they would actually use them as the chapter. Before you start a new chapter, you'd hear that line would be the subtitle of the chapter, but you wouldn't know the context or where it was going to be, and it was always great. One of them was, "Damn if that ain't a gas." When they're trying to get away from the cops underground on a boat through a tunnel with like water, and they were like zooming down it, and they got away from them. And at the end, one of the character, Georgie, says, "Damn if that ain't a gas." But when you see it at the beginning, you don't understand. It ends up being a pretty cool part of the game. Another one where he said, when the main character was heading off, Georgie goes to give him a gun, to help protect himself when he's gone. And he said, as he goes to hand it to him, he says, "We all got a friend in Jesus." I love that line. I love that line. Another guy he goes to take out, and they're fighting an amusement park. He finally gets the guy and has him at his mercy, and he starts tying him to the Ferris wheel. And the guy's saying, "Hey, you're not going to even let me have last words or pray," something to that effect. And then the main character hits the button and starts the roller coaster going up with the guy tied to it, and he says, "Pray on the way up." That was again the line at the beginning of the chapter, and doesn't sound great until you hear it in the context. But anyway, yeah, it's enough if you say it's enough. So that's pretty powerful, huh? Like you can just, and this is common sense. I'm not coming up with this weird pseudo or this weird new age woo woo wisdom here. This is regular. It's enough if you say it's enough. If you want to quit smoking and you've had enough of it, it's enough if you say it's enough. It doesn't have to continue on. A relationship, anything. Being a certain way personally, like, I don't want to be jealous anymore. I don't want to hate anymore. applies to anything. But again, you won't see that on Instagram on a word board of quotes. It's enough if you say it's enough. It's not sexy. But boy, in that context it is. And it's powerful. Probably more powerful than many of those. Because it's showing you have the power at any point to say that's it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to act this way anymore. I'm not going to be this person anymore. Or my personality is not going to be that way anymore. Probably going to eat this whole thing, guys. I'm going to do more of these morning Zens. If you like them, drop a comment, you monsters. Give me some feedback. Yeah, I think I'm going to eat this whole thing. I can eat 1,500 calories in a sitting, so as you could tell, I don't, but I should. It's enough if you say it's enough. So anybody, if you play video games or anything, is there any quotes you've heard that were kind of unintentional wisdom or intentional wisdom in a weird place, like a video game? Although I shouldn't say it's in a video games would be a weird place for that, because like I said, they're writing scripts in these stories and it's dialogue, and eventually, people aren't just going to say generic things all the time. But I have many more examples that I'll probably touch on in the future, but from video games. But there was one in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild where there was like this effeminate character, and he would always like dance. I think, what was his name, Bolson? He would like dance or something before he had to like start doing work or something. Man, it's been a while, I can't remember. But and he went to go do something, and he said, hang on, I got to get my mind right, and then started to do his thing. And I remember screenshotting that. Hang on, I got to get my mind right. Unintentional, intentional video game wisdom, I don't know, but that's pretty strong, pretty powerful. I like it. Let's have more of this. I'm gonna have the rest of it. I really wish I knew the fight. I think it is like a citrus. I don't even know. It should say it on the front, and it doesn't. It just says balanced food, calorie mate block. I'll have to look up. Yeah. Do you guys have any things to input, any quotes? Drop them in the comments, you monsters. I love you guys that comment. You guys are the best. I love you guys that watch. I love all you. I love all you. All right, let's eat this whole. Yep, poink. Movies too. I do with movies. I'm gonna do a series of these. I don't know if I want to call it series, but I want to wisdom from these YouTube videos, movies, music, video games. I want to spotlight some of them, but this one's, it's enough if you say it's enough. Like I could be eating all these and then keep eating them, or it works with something like a bag of chips. It's enough if you say it's enough. Just stop having them. Like I'm addicted to these. I can't I can't stop, you know? Well, if you say it's enough, it's enough. And that's it. You decide, not your emotions, your detached emotions, your expectations people have of you to do something. You decide, this is too much now. You say, I have anger issues, and at some point you got to say to yourself, this is it. I can't do this anymore. So you just stop getting angry. But the power is within you. You could be driven by jealousy, fear, anger, hate, gluttony. And nobody else, with no one's wisdom quote, no psychiatrist, like I said, no inspirational quotes or anything. They can help spur you, but if you just say no, all the power is within you. Be disciplined enough to say, that's it, not anymore. I wield the power of change. Today, gonna bring the car for inspection. And then buy more of these. How many of you carry a little pad around or have a notebook, journal, anything? And do you write down these kind of cool things you hear? I'm telling you, there's wisdom in the strangest places. Not even wisdom, but lines that are great. I remember reading The Dharma Bums by Jack Kerouac. And there was a line early on where the character says, I meet all my bodhisattvas in the street. And I was like, oh, I'm writing that down. I just love it. I'm definitely highlighting these from now on. And they don't even have to be wisdom. It could just be something you overheard. I remember I was sitting at Starbucks once a few years ago, and there was a bunch of like teen girls, high school girls, all, chatting and babbling away. And, I'm doing my thing, not really paying attention. So I don't really hear what they're talking about. And then at some point I did hear, and the line I heard was when I came out of my, zone that I was doing, and I just heard, and the one girl said, they must have been arguing about someone. She goes, that transition lens, bitch. And I said, well, that's getting written down. That transition lens, what a line. Not really wisdom. All right, that's enough of that thing. That's enough of that thing. And that's enough of that. It's done. It does not feel like a lot of calories, though. I could probably eat 3 of these things. I think it might be about 400. This isn't a lot. It's in Japan. They don't eat as many calories as we do in sittings. So I get it. We're used to eating so much more here that we'll be like, that's it. They don't have the supersized version. If it was made in America, they would. Remember, they start doing that with like Snickers bars or everything. Here's the bigger size. It's like, my goodness, just get 2 regular ones. Nope. extra strength, bigger and bigger and bigger. The fries can get like this in the supermarket. I mean, in the fast food places. We just don't need that much. But it's enough when you say it's enough. That's enough. I don't need a bigger size. There's an example of it. I say that's enough. But anyway, if you're liking these morning zens, like I said, there's a topic in these, and I'll put the topic in the title. But it's loose. The topic is loose. Just kind of chilling in the morning. That's what I want these to be about. We wake up together. You guys can have your tea or your coffee or whatever you have in the morning. Watch along with it. Calorie Mate. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, Calorie Mate. All right, guys. As I look down and I see the end of the road for the tea, the Calorie Mate's done, and I'm going to say that this is enough for the video. It's enough because I say it's enough. We've ran the well dry for this topic, and the teacup is empty. The Calorie Mate box is empty. And now we begin the day. So hope you guys have a great one today. And remember, at any point, you can say, nope, no more. It doesn't have to be this way anymore. That's pretty powerful, huh? Do we even grasp that power ever? Utilize it? Not really. We're kind of numbed out a lot from our phones and all these computers, and I don't think we're in tune with our emotions in the proper way. We're in tune with controlling our emotions, veering them, using them in the proper way, keeping our mind right, and being able to make better decisions, good decisions for our well-being. All right, everybody, I want to thank you for watching Morning Zen for Monday, the last Monday. Is it the last? Yeah, the last Monday of November. Man, I really should know the dates before I do. I think it's the 25th. And we'll catch you next time. I'm going to go look at this morning sky.